Good morning, students. In the previous topic, we were studying about examples of chemical change. We will continue with few more examples of chemical change. When explosion of a firework is an example of a chemical change. How is it? You all know that explosion or bursting of cracker produces heat, light, sound along with unpleasant gases. Okay, so it is a chemical change. When food gets spoiled, it produces a foul smell. That means it is totally getting converted into a new substance. Okay, so that is a chemical change. You all must have seen slice of apple. Whenever you cut a piece of apple and you keep it outside, what happens? It becomes brown in color. Or a slice of a potato or brinjal. What happens? You all have seen that if you keep it as it is in the atmosphere, free open in the atmosphere, after some time it acquires reddish brown color. So what is happening? It is coming in contact with the atmospheric oxygen and a new substance is formed. The brown color which is formed on the apple or the potato or the brinjal, they all are actually a new substance is formed. Okay, so it is a chemical change. That is why you all must have seen that whenever your mother cuts potatoes or brinjals, what does she do? She puts it in water. When you put it in water, what will happen? It is not coming in contact with the atmospheric oxygen. So the brown color will not acquire and there will be no change. Okay. Another example of chemical change is rusting of iron. You all know that so many iron objects are around you and they all rust. How do they rust? The procedure of rusting is that whenever iron comes in contact with oxygen or water, it forms a brownish, reddish brown substance which is called as rust. So rust is iron oxide, Fe2O3. Okay, and for rusting, what is important? For rusting, both oxygen and water should be present. Only if water and oxygen is present, then only iron object will rust. Otherwise, it will not rust. And how can we prevent the procedure of rusting? You all have seen at your home, what does your father do? Most of the iron objects, we either paint them or we apply grease on them. So whenever you are painting an iron object, what is happening? You are forming a layer of paint on top of the iron object. So when there is a layer of paint on the iron object, it is not coming in contact with oxygen or it is also not coming in contact with water. So what will happen? It will not rust, isn't it? In the same way, another method of preventing rusting is to deposit a layer of metal like chromium or zinc on iron. Okay, a layer of chromium or zinc is put on iron and this procedure is called as galvanization. Okay, the procedure of depositing a layer of zinc on iron is called as galvanization. The best example of galvanization is the pipes which carry water at our home. You all must have seen the pipes outside the houses which carry water. They all are actually made up of iron, but they are galvanized. On top of the iron there is a layer of zinc. That is why even though daily you must have seen at our houses we get 2 times or 3 times, thrice in a day water comes, but still the pipes, they do not rust. What is the reason? Because they are all galvanized. Okay, that means a layer of zinc is being deposited. Clear? So these were the examples of chemical changes. Now we have got one more example of a physical change, that is the procedure of crystallization. You all have studied in class 6 that how do we obtain salt? We obtain salt by evaporation of seawater, and whenever the seawater that means the seawater is after the procedure of evaporation, the salt that is obtained, it is not pure. Okay, it is in the shape of its crystals. Okay, they are small tiny crystals like this, very small crystals. of salt. Okay, and how can we obtain these crystals? These crystals can be obtained from their solution, isn't it? You all have studied about solution in class 6th in crystals of salt. How can we obtain the crystals of salt? By the process of crystallization. And crystallization, how do we obtain crystals? Crystals can be obtained from the solutions. Okay, solution is, what does it, the solution contain? The solution contain water along with seawater along with salt in it. So that is why we can get crystals. Okay, so crystallization is obtaining crystals of pure substance from the solution, and it is an example of a physical change. Here you have got one activity, that is you are making crystals of copper sulfate. Okay, you are making crystals of copper sulfate. And how can you make crystals of copper sulfate? You have to take copper sulfate in a beaker. In the previous topic I had told you that copper sulfate is blue in color, isn't it? You have to take water and you have to add few drop of sulfuric acid in it, and then you have to start heating the water. When the water starts boiling, you have to add copper sulfate, which is blue in color, copper sulfate powder, and you have to keep on stirring it continuously. Okay, and you will keep on adding it till no more copper sulfate can be dissolved in it. I hope children you remember what is it called as. In class 6th you have studied this kind of solution will be called as saturated solution. You all have studied in class 6th, isn't it? What is a saturated solution? A saturated solution is a solution in which you cannot add more solute. So you have to make this solution saturated. Okay, keep on adding till the copper sulfate does not dissolve. After that, what you have to do? You have to filter the solution and you have to allow it to cool down. Okay, and once it cool down, you will see crystals of copper sulfate like this. Okay, and this will be all small crystals, or in the shape of the beaker itself you will get the crystals. So this is an example of a physical change. So children, you all have studied about physical and chemical changes in this chapter. I hope the chapter is clear to all of you. Please read the chapter properly, and if you have got any doubt, you can contact me on my personal number. Thank you.